Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my back porch for another daily video devo. It's nice to have some days sunny enough to do some of these from the back porch, right? Hey, have you ever heard the absolutely true story of Owen and MZ? Owen the hippo and MZ the tortoise. This is a story I first heard reported by NPR. Heavy rains washed a baby hippopotamus down the Sabaki River and out to sea, and the baby hippo was stranded on a reef far from shore near Mombasa, Kenya, hopelessly lost and separated from its family. Hundreds of people came to try to rescue the hippo. It took ropes and boats and nets, but even though the hippo was tired, he was still fast and slippery and afraid of his rescuers. Finally, it took a brave rugby tackle to finally capture him, and the cheering of the crowd could be heard from over a mile away. As the rescuers left for an animal preserve in Mombasa, the crowd unanimously agreed to name the hippo Owen in honor of the volunteer who tackled him to the ground. Well, when the hippo arrived at the shelter, Owen was exhausted and confused and extremely frightened, but he found comfort in the presence of MZ, a 130-year-old tortoise who treated Owen as his new friend and even returned signs of affection. A woman named Paula Kahumbu, who's in charge of the park, says, "It is incredible. A less-than-year-old hippo has been adopted by a male tortoise about a century old, and the tortoise seems to be very happy with being a mother. They swim and eat and sleep together. The hippo follows the tortoise exactly the way it would follow its mother." And here's the rest of the story. The turtle himself was lost and rescued. Like the other animals in this preserve, he was saved way back when he was merely 100 from being turned into somebody's dinner, rescued right out of a restaurant's fish tank by somebody who rescued him and bought him and then set him free. Well, I heard that story and I thought, is that not what Jesus wants us to do for one another? We were lost, and Jesus comes out and rescues us. And sometimes he has to tackle us because we're frightened of him and we try to run away. But then he says, I want you older ones to help the new ones along, even if they're hippos and you're turtles, even if they're Samaritans and you're Jews, like we saw in the story this last weekend in church, even if they're black and you're white, they're old and you're young, they're Democrats and you're Republicans, or vice versa. No matter how different they are from you, I've rescued you all, and so I want you to help each other along. In John 4:38, Jesus tells the disciples, "Don't you have a saying, it's still 4 months and then the harvest? But I tell you, open your eyes, look at the fields. They are ripe for harvest." Jesus called unlikely disciples to be his followers. And then he tells them, now I want you to go out and do the same to the Samaritans. The rescued hippos and the rescued turtles, all together helping each other out, because we were all lost and then we were all found by our Savior Jesus.